Now let us talk about the golden triangle for the outcome-based educations. We have the course outcome. This needs to be well aligned with the teaching and learning activities as well as the assessment. For each course, there will be 3 to 4 course outcomes. The relevant information can be acquired from the course outline or the course syllabus. These course outcomes are well constructed based on the content of the course, and that will be the ultimate purpose of that particular course. Based on the course outcome, you will need to design the teaching and learning activities. All the teaching and learning activities shall concentrate in order to attain the respective course outcome. And what is being taught shall ultimately be assessed, and the assessment will also be on the basis of that particular course outcomes. So when we talk about the constructive alignment, we are talking about all these 3 items here. They are complementing each others. Having any one of them disconnected from the others will collapse the entire course. And this is what you commonly see in the learnings of the outcome-based educations. You need to know that everything needs to discrete to and centered at the course outcome. Let's say now you have 3 course outcomes in one course. There should be 3 of this. CO1 will have the designated teaching and learning activities, and the assessment will also be designated for the CO1. As for CO2, there will be teaching and learning activities and the assessment. Same goes to CO3. We are not looking at the course as a whole now. Instead, we break down this course into 3 course outcomes here, and the teaching and learning activities shall be defined in accordance to that particular COs. Same goes to the assessment. This will be the simplest models of the golden triangles of OBE. Now when it comes to the engineering, the whole thing becomes more complex. For the course outcome or the learning outcome level, there are additional elements as stipulated to be included within the program. We have 11 graduate attributes as identified by the IEA. We have 9 knowledge profiles. We have 7 complex engineering problem solving. We have 5 complex engineering activities, and we have sustainable development goal. All these elements shall be incorporated within the outcomes here. And the learning outcome here can be in the natures of cognitive, psychomotor, and affective. Cognitive is knowledge-based. Psychomotor is skill-based, and affective, it will be the attitude and behavior-based. We're going to discuss in detail on this in another chapter. As far as you need to know now, there are different levels of cognitive, psychomotor, and affective, from basic to the advanced level. For a typical engineering program, we are under the Washington Accord. The requirement here, you will need to have complex engineering problem solving and complex engineering activities, plus 17 sustainable development goals. And a typical bachelor degree of engineering, it will be more towards the knowledge base. It is commonly applied that about 70% of the student learning time will go for the cognitive domain. 30% of the student learning time will go for the skill. Emphasis are going to the engineering knowledge. And as for the attitude on the affective domain, those will have to be blended within the engineering programs. All this will have to be properly designed when you are doing the constructive alignments between the CO, PO, and PEO. Next, the second part, it will be the instructions or the teaching and learning activities. There are two major categories of the teaching and learning activities. We are now transforming from the teacher-centered learning to student-centered learning. The teacher-centered learnings are conventional. The latest development of the educations encourage us to transform into the student-centered learning. For the teacher-centered learning, there are lectures, e-learning, and etc. And there is a wide variety of the student-centered learning, such as problem-based learning, project-based learning, problem-oriented project-based learning, case-based learning, open-ended laboratories, and others. We shall discuss about this in another chapters. Also nowadays, in order to meet the demands of the local industries, there are soft skills or generic skills that we require the students to have. By going through the program here, students shall be given opportunity to build out the relevant skills. Among the examples are the critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, creative thinking skills, management skill, leadership, teamwork, communications, analytical, and ICT. These are the skills necessary for the students in facing the challenge in the working industry later. Now, if you look at the mode of the learning method here, these generic skills here shall be more easily being trained under the student-centered learning. Therefore, on this basis, it is nearly impossible for you to avoid the student-centered learning within a program. Now, the question here, it will be the quantum of the student-centered learning against the teacher-centered learning. As far as the latest development now, the academicians are being encouraged to have the student-centered learning in replace to the teacher-centered learning. Now, all the teaching and learning activities will have to be designed in accordance and in line with the learning outcome. And then later, when you do the assessment, you are assessing the learning outcome and supported by the teaching and learning activities. There will be formative and summative assessment. The formative assessments is meant to monitor the students' performance. The ultimate purpose here is to help the students to improve their performance. And when come to the summative assessment, the ultimate goal here is to determine the grade of the students. There will be direct assessment and indirect assessment. If you are measuring the students' result directly, for example, you're talking about final exam, progress tests, assignment reports, lab reports, and etc., you are doing the direct assessment. Now, when it comes to the survey and statistical analysis, those will be the indirect assessment. And also, assessment can be done at various levels, at the course level and also at the program levels. The purpose of different levels are different, and the person in charge is also different. You will have to make sure the entire thing is properly closed in the loop. They have to complement each other and make sure everything is strongly correlated in order to ensure the success of that particular program. Since you have these elements within your learning outcome, when it comes to the teaching and learning activities, those elements should also be incorporated. And then when it comes to the assessment, you will need to also assess the relevant elements here.